Unreal Engine 5 is powering a lineup of upcoming games focused on lifelike detail and advanced lighting. These titles highlight dense environments, realistic materials, and smoother character animation. Across different genres, they aim to show what modern graphics technology can deliver. Let's get into it.
Was Besonderes.
DokeV is an open-world action-adventure creature-collecting game where players gather DokeV inspired by Korean folklore and use them in fast, real-time combat. The story involves a corporation that captures these creatures to power AI robots. The setting is a colorful, modern environment influenced by South Korea. Movement includes skateboards, rollerblades, and flying umbrellas. Players can customize outfits and gear, and the design supports a single-player story with optional co-op boss battles.
Ich bin ein Rockstar. Hitze, Hitze. Jetzt nimm es runter. Jetzt ist es dein Affe, Junge. Zeig mir alles, denn ich bin ein Superstar. Ich werde alles verbrennen. Hitze, Hitze. Ich bin ein Star. Hitze, Hitze. Hitze, Hitze. Hitze, Hitze. Gib mir.
Coven of the Chickenfoot is a single-player adventure puzzle platformer where players control Gertie, an elderly witch who relies on a strange creature companion instead of traditional combat. Progress depends on working with the creature as it observes situations, learns behaviors, and develops new abilities. The semi-open areas include dungeons, forests, bogs, and catacombs, with environmental storytelling guiding the narrative while the relationship between Gertie and the creature changes over time.
through 14 years of flight to your new home on Caesura.
Subnatica 2 is an open-water survival game where players dive into an alien ocean, gather resources, and build tools, submersibles, and bases to stay alive. The game supports solo play or online co-op with up to 3 friends. Players scan creatures, collect samples, and adapt their character through genetic changes. Several underwater biomes contain different ecosystems and threats, while the story involves a mission controlled by an AI on a dangerous new planet. Skydust is a cyberpunk action-adventure Metroidvania set in a poisoned Sao Paulo, where players take the role of a hired blade completing dangerous contracts. Combat revolves around dodging, parrying, chaining combos, and using an upgradable augmented arm, along with stealth executions and finishing moves. Interconnected districts open gradually as new abilities are gained, while missions lead through neon streets, underground areas, motorcycle battles, and sections of a corrupted cyberverse tied to a larger conspiracy.
We are capturing Objective Bravo.
WRAITH Ops is a team-based first-person shooter built around fast movement, objective-driven matches, and short time-to-kill gunfights. Players choose between 2 factions and build loadouts using primary, secondary, and melee weapons, throwables, stimulants, and class abilities. More than 30 weapons support attachments that change handling and stats. Matches take place across multiple maps with dynamic weather, and modes include team deathmatch, arena fights, gun game, and large-scale 8 vs 8 operations. Virtua Fighter is a new mainline entry in the 3D fighting series, featuring redesigned characters like Akira Yuki alongside new fighters and styles such as Taekwondo. Combat introduces systems like standard rules, an uprising mode that creates momentum shifts, and a break and rush feature where damage to specific body parts carries across rounds. The game uses the Dragon Engine to deliver more detailed character models and modern visual fidelity.
The newest co-op zombie shooter launching March 12, 2026.
John Carpenter's Toxic Commando is a co-op first-person shooter where up to 4 players form a squad to fight large waves of infected enemies. Each player selects a character and uses guns, grenades, and special powers while supporting teammates by sharing ammo and reviving fallen allies. Semi-open maps include drivable vehicles with different abilities, allowing squads to move across the battlefield and clear hordes together using coordinated teamwork.
Your crew together and play as Walter, Kato, Ruby, and Astrid, a bunch of criminals hired to clean up this mess and maybe save humanity while they're at it. You'll blast through multiple missions, each in a semi-open world packed with zombie heads to blow off. Get ready to face hordes of those sludge bastards.
Fuck off over there!
Saber Interactive Swarm technology throws hundreds upon hundreds of real enemies at you simultaneously. We're talking endless waves of zombies running straight at your face. Adapt fast, work with your team, or just grab a machete and charge into the horde like the maniac you are. In Toxic Commando, every mission starts with a badass vehicle, and you'll need it to navigate these infected hellscapes. Each has its perks. Stuck in blood and guts-filled mud with more zombies closing in? Jack a ride with a winch to pull yourselves free, and crack open locked containers loaded with ammo, weapons, spare parts, and fuel. Teams bleeding out? An ambulance is your savior and heals everyone. Check your map for available rides and switch whenever you find something better. We've got all the toys you'll need to blast these monsters back to hell. Pick your primary from 16 weapon types. Shotguns, SMGs, sniper rifles, you name it.
Reloading.
Secondary weapons like pistols back you up when you're running dry. When you're looking for brutal, bloody takedowns, melee weapons are your friends. Machetes, crowbars, all kinds of good shit.
Now this is action!
The really devastating gear like heavy machine guns and grenade launchers are hidden in missions. Explore and exchange spare parts to unlock them.
Finders takers.
That's what we need.
Choose a kick-ass ability for even more blood and explosions. Dominate in your own style by choosing among 4 unique classes. Strike for aggressive mayhem. Medic to keep everyone breathing. Operator for drone warfare and tech.
Getting my drone loose.
Or Defender to be an unstoppable wall.
Fence is activated!
Stack your squad however you want. Run 4 strikes if that's your vibe. This game is built from the ground up for 4-player chaos. Use matchmaking or grab your friends in a private lobby. With crossplay, anyone can join from any platform. One last piece of advice, if you want to play Lone Wolf, you'll get swarmed fast. So rally your team, gear the hell up, and get ready for non-stop co-op zombie destruction.
Total War Warhammer 3 Lords of the End Times is a major expansion that introduces Nagash as a playable leader with powerful necromantic abilities that can reshape the campaign. The content adds new legendary lords, updates undead and chaos factions, and introduces end-time scenarios that trigger large-scale apocalyptic events across the Immortal Empire's map. Players can take part in these crises either by leading the destruction or attempting to resist it through large strategic battles.
My ascension. The world is ending, and I shall reign over oblivion. Come to me, and for eternity you will serve. Citra does not serve. Citra rules. So be it. I am death incarnate. This world will kneel.
The Florist is a survival horror game set in a lakeside town overtaken by aggressive plant growth that turns people into monsters. Players control Jessica Park as she fights through fixed camera environments, solves puzzles, and uses a range of weapons to survive. The town changes over time as the infestation spreads, and progress depends on uncovering the cause of the outbreak while navigating areas filled with hostile floral creatures.
The land of ancient India.
The Age of Bhaarat is a dark fantasy action-adventure game where players control a forest warden defending ancient lands from invading Rakshasa demons. Combat combines traditional weapons with spiritual powers, along with a grappling hook system that adds vertical movement during fights. Players travel through forests, mountains, and lakes inspired by Indian epics, customize their abilities and equipment, and uncover the forces behind the demonic invasion.
The time has come to fight these invaders. The time has come to fight these monsters. The time has come to fight the demons. The time has come to fight those who oppress the forest tribes. The time has come to declare war! It's time for you to join the army of heroes. Fight the monsters! Stand with your people! Play the Age of Bhaarat! Protect the weak! Punish the wicked! Bharat Mata ki Jai!
TankRat is a post-apocalyptic action-adventure game where players control a digitized consciousness that can switch between a small drone and powerful tanks. Combat involves fighting corrupted machines, dismantling their wreckage, and attaching salvaged weapons, armor, and technology to upgrade the player's vehicle. Each run through the wasteland provides materials for rebuilding and respecing the machine, while the objective is to survive hostile zones and push toward the distant city known as High Point.
Know what you might find.
My dear children, I write this letter to you as...
Solasta 2 is a turn-based tactical RPG where players create a party of 4 adventurers and guide them through battles based on the SRD 5.2 rule set. Combat relies on dice rolls, positioning, spells, and class abilities during grid-based encounters. Players choose classes, ancestries, and equipment while traveling across the land of Neokos, completing quests, fighting monsters, and making story decisions that affect how the campaign against the Shadwin threat unfolds.
Lies. You should have saved her.
She deserves the peace of death.
What an interesting family you must have.
Is that fear I sense? Good.
Stay in the light. Never give in to darkness. Your loving mother, Mahin.
Resonance: A Plague Tale Legacy is an action-adventure prequel where players control Sophia as she travels to a dangerous island tied to an ancient curse. Gameplay combines melee combat, stealth, and puzzle solving while avoiding enemy forces searching for the same treasure. Players use agility, parries, and quick attacks in fights, and solve environmental puzzles with a Minoan sphere that manipulates light, while the story connects events from different time periods linked to the macula. Morbid Metal is a hack-and-slash action roguelite where players switch between multiple characters during combat to combine their movesets and create chained combos. Each character has unique attacks and abilities, allowing different fighting styles against machines and bosses. Levels are cleared in repeatable runs where upgrades, buffs, and resources strengthen the team. Death resets the run, but some progression carries over, encouraging players to adapt and improve their builds.
Death spares neither god nor man.
Mistfall Hunter is a third-person action PvPvE extraction RPG where players enter dangerous zones to fight monsters and rival players while searching for valuable loot. Each class has different weapons, skills, and talents, and builds can be customized with gear, affixes, and passives. Combat combines melee and magic with precision aiming and combo attacks. Players can go solo or form small teams, and success depends on surviving the encounter and escaping with collected resources.
Or lose it all to the night. In spite of the horrors of the mist, do you dare hope? Then let the hunt.
Halo Campaign Evolved is a rebuilt version of the original campaign with updated visuals, refined controls, and additional missions. Players control the Master Chief across the Ringworld, fighting Covenant forces using an expanded arsenal of weapons and vehicles. The game supports solo play or up to 4-player online co-op. New missions add extra story content, while optional skull modifiers change combat rules to create different tactical situations across replayed missions.
Chief, you gotta find the cartographer. We'll keep him busy as long as we can.
Fire Team Charlie, we're on our way.
Touchdown! Hit it, Marines!
putting up a real fight. The cartographer must be here.
Lock and roll! Rock and roll!
Fable is an open-world action RPG set in the land of Albion, where players create a hero and shape their reputation through choices and actions. Combat combines melee weapons, ranged attacks, and magic against bandits, creatures, and fantasy monsters. Outside of combat, players can earn money through jobs, buy property, build relationships, and raise families, with decisions affecting how townspeople react and how the story unfolds.
Has its own story. Yes, bloody!
Exiledge is a high-speed third-person action shooter with roguelike structure where players combine gunfire and melee attacks against hostile otherkin creatures. The story takes place in a flooded future where humanity survives inside massive towers and players control a diver named Alter alongside a companion called Zora. Combat revolves around fast movement, chained attacks, and repeated runs through dangerous areas, with each attempt uncovering more about the towers and the wider world. Digested is a first-person survival horror game where players try to escape a giant snake across isolated environments using only a map and compass. The objective is to locate navigation points that reveal the correct extraction pod while avoiding the creature. Each run features randomized starting positions, objectives, and power-ups, forcing players to adjust their strategy as they search for tools that provide temporary advantages during the escape.
Attention all drivers. This is your one.
Carmageddon Rogue Shift is a vehicular combat roguelite where players drive armed cars through destruction races against rival drivers and zombie hordes. Each run follows a branching path of events where victories grant credits, weapons, and perks that change the vehicle's performance. Players can repair and upgrade their cars between races, while dynamic weather, boss encounters, and different enemy types create varied challenges across each attempt. Black Vultures Prey of Greed is a tactical first-person shooter built around a three-faction extraction structure where squads fight over loot in a modern war zone. Teams manage limited life tickets, gather resources, use vehicles, and decide when to leave the battlefield with their rewards. The game includes an AI system called Viper that analyzes combat conditions, equipment, and drone activity in real time to adapt tactics during matches.
Berarti Ibu tahu saya tidak punya pilihan lain.
AGNI Village of Calamity is a survival horror game where players control an investigator who enters a remote village to search for a missing partner and uncover a growing mystery. Gameplay combines resource management, puzzle solving, and encounters where players must choose between fighting or avoiding threats. Clues collected across the village are used to solve larger cases, while the story develops through exploration of different locations and discoveries about the events affecting the area.
Tugasmu bukan di sini. Agni, perlu kamu ketahui, sejengkal saja kamu keluar dan menginjakkan kaki di tempat itu, semua pintu deskupan akan tertutup buatmu. Jangan buat keputusan yang akan kamu sesali.
Lila butuh saya, Bu.
Agni, Kak, ini Lila, Kak. Ayo pulang. Lila mau pulang.
Nothing. No justice. No peace. Just names on the wall.
Acts of Blood is a third-person beat-em-up set in a dystopian Indonesian city where players control Hendra as he fights through gangs linked to his family's murder. Combat centers on fast hand-to-hand attacks, blocks, counters, and brutal finishers against groups of enemies and bosses. Players can use melee weapons, firearms, and environmental objects, while parkour movement allows running, climbing, and positioning during fights across different levels.
Bad dot line.